tuning into Guts United States. Variety talk show with a Christian point of view. Okay, you will have the guts to tell somebody about you. I'm your host, Nikki B. We thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast. You can tune in Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Saturdays at 10 a.m. The number is 877-217-5375. That's 877-217-5375. Make sure you keep option 2. You can also visit us on the internet, gutsay.com, gutsay.com. Now, thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast. You're getting ready to hear from myself right here on Guts United States. Variety talk show with a Christian point of view. You will have the guts to tell somebody about you. Today on Principles for Living, author and Christian businessman Bill Duffin shares advice on everyday living.
There are people that do not deserve our love. So how should we treat them? We love them anyway. We love them in spite of the kind of people they are. How will others know what love is if we're not capable of showing it to them? If Christians cannot love the unlovable, then maybe we don't know how to love at all. Jesus said, if you love only the people who love you, what praise should you get? Even sinners love the people who love them. When the pressure is on at work, we need to love. When someone makes a mistake, we still need to love. As Christians, our love may be the only example of Jesus that others will ever see.
For a free daily commentary from Bill Duffin, visit principlesforliving.org. That's principlesforliving.org.
Do you need emergency road service? Call the Tabernacles Series.
Evangelists and apostles, are you looking to convert your sermons from cassettes to CDs? Are you looking to edit your messages to create ministry series? Or do you want to convert your messages and offer downloads on the internet? Call 754-24-MUSIC. Call 754-24-MUSIC to convert your sermons to CDs. Don't let your powerful messages sit in the corner in storage. Digitize it, edit it, and master your messages on CD for distribution. Convert your sermons for iPods, MP3s. Edit your messages for radio broadcasting and internet streaming. Call 754-24-MUSIC and watch as God convert His people using your gifts. Call Rhythm and Gospel 754-246-8742.
Gospel, fulfilling God's will on earth as it is in heaven.
Hey, this is Dan McCauley, and I wanted to encourage you today in your worship with some thoughts from my song, Drumming For You. You know, every good thing that you and I have, every resource, every ability, God gave it to us. And what we do with it is our worship to Him. So you can honor God today by just being exactly who He's made you to be. Think about it. What do you have to offer that could bless someone else? And when we do it for someone else, we've done it for Him. Let me encourage you, take whatever you've been given, no matter how simple, and worship Him with it today.
Gospel, united to save. It's the Guts Gospel Show, a variety talk show with a Christian view. Your host, Nikki B, featuring open discussion, event spotlight, and special guests. Tune in weekdays 3 times a day. Wake up for the morning show at 7 a.m. Tune in for the midday show at 3:30 p.m. and ride home with the evening show at 6 p.m. And Saturdays at 10 a.m. The Guts Gospel Show. Guts Gospel Show with your host, Nikki B. Gospel United to Save. Tune in, call in, and log in. Let's talk about it, laugh about it, and pray about it with Nikki B. Right here on this station. Tune in online and listen to it on the internet. www.gutsay.webs.com. It's the Guts Gospel Gospel Show. Gospel united to save.
We're replacing the blues with the good news, and we do thank God for each and every one of you tuning into the broadcast. You are tuned into Guts, Gospel United to Save, a variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. I'm your host, Nikki V, and we thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast and being a part of what God is doing right here and right now. This week we've been talking about the Feast of Tabernacles, the Feast of Booths, and we're in the book of Nehemiah, and we do thank God for you all joining in with us. I do want to remind you about some things that are happening in South Florida, and we want to make sure that as many of you can and will are participating and getting active in what is going on. We are going to definitely protest for justice in the West Palm Beach area. There will be buses leaving out of the Fort Lauderdale and the Pompano Beach area, and we'll be starting off at 8 a.m. With our attempt to get there by 10:30 in the West Palm Beach area. And we would love to have as many of you who can and will join with us in this protest for justice. We are really working towards making sure that there is justice for all, not just justice for some. And we would love for you to join us. If you'd like to know more information about where the bus stops are, where the pickups are, more information about what we are protesting about, please call 954-773-1222. That's 954-773-1222. Or you can also talk to Apostle Key, 954-548-9941. That's 954-548-9941. And we are protesting for justice. We're going to be taking a bus ride to West Palm Beach, and as many people who can and will to join us in this bus ride. We want to make a statement to let people know that we won't be silent anymore. We want our voices to be heard. We want to make sure that people understand what's going on. We want to make a difference in our community on every level. Yes, we want to make a difference in the justice system. We also want to make a difference in our social or socioeconomic system. There are things that are happening, and I'm not, trying to kill rap artists, but or hip hop artists, but our hip hop nation has a way of degrading our women and degrading one another, and that negative impulse is not breeding good moral character in our society. So we want to kind of make sure that we make a statement and let people know I'm not with that. I'm with gospel rap music. I'm with something with a positive message. I'm with things that help grow my community. I'm with things that help bring things into my community. We've got our rap artists and they do what they do, and they make money off of our children, and they make money off of our people, but how much of that money comes back to help us? And besides that is the message that they're preaching, because they're preaching a message. These music groups, these people outside, they're preaching a message. And what are we doing to counteract the message that's being preached? The world has a message that it preaches. Oh, I know y'all don't like me because I'm using the word preach in the world. They've got a Bible. Hello. I know y'all don't understand it, but they do have a Bible. They call a lot of things a Bible. Why? Because the Bible has an understanding. When we talk about the Holy Bible, there's a difference. The Holy Scriptures, there's a difference. But, they've got a racetrack Bible. The world has lots of things that are the way of for certain groups, denominations, and etc., and they call it their Bible. So we have to understand that our children are growing up in a world that has not done it justice, nor will do it justice in any shape or form, whether it be in the justice system, whether it is training them more morally. As a matter of fact, we're expecting the world to teach our children or train our children, and many of us are not training our children because many of us are children ourselves. And so because we're children having children, we don't really know how to raise anybody, and we weren't raised ourselves. We were left to our own ideologies, our own thoughts, or maybe we were just rebellious and we thought that it worked out well for us. So we're not teaching our children or training our children, raising them up. And we wonder why we have a generation that doesn't know God. Now, somebody said, what does this got to do with the series? Well, trust me, it has a lot to do with the series, because the people had come out of captivity and they had to relearn what it means to serve God. But they had a zeal for that. They wanted to know. They had a desire to know. They wanted to be informed. They were desperate to get to know who God is and what God stands for. They wanted to be informed. They would stand and they stood for hours listening to Ezra read the scriptures and what it is that they were required to do. They stood and they listened for this. They stood and they heard of the word that was being proclaimed, and they did not, women, children, anybody who was able to understand. So we're thinking at least 12 years old and up, were out there listening to the word of God and wanting to know the instruction so that they could obey. So they could listen to obey. And nowadays, you don't have anybody trying to listen to obey. Everybody's trying to do their own thing. Everybody's trying to be independent. Everybody's trying to rebel and refuse. But the Bible, if it's right, and I believe it is, it says that if you would hearken unto the voice of the Lord, you shall eat of the good land. But if you refuse and rebel, you will be devoured by the sword. So we're wondering why so many people are being killed, dying, why so much is happening. It is the promise of God. If you refuse and rebel, if you decide, I don't want God's way, then you will be devoured by the sword. Now, we're looking for a sword, but that was the killing machine of that day. And now we've got the killing machine of our day, which is guns and weapons and heavy artillery. And you're wondering why we're having all these Columbines and all these shootings in schools and all these shootings in movie theaters. You're refusing and rebelling. I'm sorry. Somebody out there is just tripping right now because they think that I'm just being crazy by what I'm saying. But I'm not really crazy. I'm actually right on target. If you give it a moment, it'll register with you. It will. It'll register with you. But let me go into something that may be a little bit more useful to some of you, because some of you, this isn't useful to you because it's tugging at your heartstrings. It's causing you to recognize something that you were trying to be blind to, but you knew it all along. You just didn't want to accept it because you don't want to think that you're rebelling. You want to think that you're being your own person. Yeah, we have ways of describing sin nowadays that make it sound justifiable, but it's not justifiable. We have ways of describing disobedience today that make it sound cute and wonderful, yet it's really a sin and an abomination before God. But let me get to something that I believe you'll be happy to hear about, something that you'll want to know. And first of all, by the way, you're listening to Guts, Gospel United Save. I'm Nikki V, and it's a variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. Do want to remind you that Country Boys Barbecue Pit is finger-licking good. Oh, yeah, so give them a call. 754-234-4547. That's 754-234-4547. You can call ahead for faster service. Delivery service is available in certain areas, so call and let them know, I need my barbecue. But definitely make sure you let them know that you heard it here on WEXY 1520, your inspiration station, and I'm sure they'll do you good. 754-234-4547. That's 754-234-4547. Country Boys Barbecue Pit. It's finger-licking good. Oh, yeah. So call today. 754-234-4547. We'll be right back after this.
say this, and then you can be able to make a stand with us that says, if I have HIV/AIDS, I will not spread it. And if I don't have HIV/AIDS, I will not acquire it. HIV/AIDS stops with me. That we collaboration for restoring families incorporated in this radio station. Together, we can.
From the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, I'm Deborah James with Healthcare 411, information for better health. Our kidneys work to filter waste from our bloodstream and to regulate our blood pressure. Some patients may develop early-stage chronic kidney disease without even knowing it, but left untreated, the condition may get worse over time until your kidneys no longer work. Here to discuss chronic kidney disease along with a free brochure that includes information about screening and treatment is ARC expert Dr. Christine Chang.
People with early-stage chronic kidney disease face greater risk of heart disease, anemia, and even death. Kidney function may get worse over time, but there are ways to manage this condition. ARC Guide explains the symptoms of the disease, along with the different ways it can be treated and managed. The guide is designed to help you work with your doctor to choose the best options for you.
To get the pre-publication medicines for early-stage kidney disease, call 1-800-358-9295. Healthcare 411 is a production of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Raising kids can be tough these days. As a parent, you've got your hands full making sure your kids have what they need to stay healthy and get the care they need when they're sick. Well, now there's help. Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program offer free or low-cost health insurance for kids and teens, all the way up to age 19. They can get regular checkups, immunizations, doctor and dentist visits, hospital care, mental health services, prescriptions, and more. Children in a family of 4 earning up to $47,100 a year or more may qualify. It's a helping hand for parents with their hands full. For more information about free or low-cost children's health insurance in your state, go to insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Here's a reminder. Don't forget to add Guts to your Facebook and Twitter so you can text in, call in, or use a social network to voice your comments and opinions.
Now back to the Guts Gospel Show. Right here on your favorite radio station. How many of you know God is good? Yeah, all the time. Yeah, my God is good. Come on, clap your hands right there. Come on, clap your hands right there. Say, come on, let's go. Every time I think about His goodness, money up for me to make me wanna be a witness. Tell the world about a man, the king's got a plan that the whole world needs. And even if it takes one step, you take two, they take one back. Let's say over my
That's Aton. I'm sorry. And Team of the song called Good. And that's the all the way good version. So we thank God for you all tuning into the broadcast. You are tuned into Guts, a Gospel United Saved a variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. Dr. Cell Phone. They got cases for all phones, iPads, tablets, laptops, phone repairs, and unlock, and they're at the swap shop. The number to call for more information. Make sure you ask for Mike. Tell him Nikki sent you. 954-792-8202. That's 954-792-8202. Dr. Cell Phone. If your cell phone, if your iPad, if your laptop needs some work, it might be sick and you don't know how to make it get well, Dr. Cell Phone's got the answer for you. 954-792-8202. Make sure you ask for Mike and tell him Nikki sent you, and they'll treat you nice because they want to make sure that you come back twice. Dr. Cell Phone, giving you just what your electronic need. Cases, everything, tablets. Check them out. They're at the swap shop. Call them 954-792-8202. That's 954-792-8202. Got a booth in the swap shop, and they're here to help you. Make sure you ask for Mike and tell them Nikki sent you, and they'll treat you real nice. And we thank God for God being so good, and A-Tone and team, and we hope that you all will ask for them, call for them, find a way to get them in your town, in your area, and let them know because they've got a project coming out, CPR, the Crazy Praise record, and we're looking forward to hearing and getting more product and more information about A-Tone and team right here on Guts Gospel United to Save. I'm Nikki V, and we thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast. We were talking about the series that we're in, and talking about people really kind of having a zeal. They want to know about God. They want to hear. They're hungry and they're thirsty for what God likes, what God wants. They want to please Him. They want to do the things that make God happy. We're living in a society, in an age where making God happy is not priority, number one, but it ought to be. We ought to want to make God happy. We ought to want to give God the glory, the honor, and the praise that does belong to Him. And so we're in the book of Nehemiah, and the Levites were chosen by God to serve in the temple. They were descendants from the tribe of Levi, and their job was to do the work in the temple, which included preparing the materials and artifacts for worship. In the days of Moses, the Levites carried the tabernacle in the wilderness and were responsible for setting it up at each camp. Under David, the nation regained the Ark of the Covenant, and Jerusalem was the center of national worship. The Levites, who no longer had to carry the tabernacle, continued its upkeep as well as the items of worship. David also engaged them as musicians and singers who led the worship of the people. Now, one of the things that we're hoping to accomplish as we go through the series is that we will learn more about the reasons behind the Festival of Booths celebration. If we understand it a little bit better, if we get a better comprehension of it, we might be able to actually be inspired by the tradition. Traditions aren't bad. Rituals aren't bad. They're just bad when they're done empty, when they have no purpose, when they have no meaning, when they don't reflect back on or cause you to reflect back on or to put your focus on God. If it becomes a duty, if it becomes something less than worship, then it becomes something that is a form of idolatry or even just a form of placating. Yeah, we don't want to brown-nose God, but we do want to make sure He's happy. So we don't want to just try to flatter Him, but we want to make sure that we are sincerely giving Him worship and adoration. Now, in the Hebrew, Sukkot was instituted in Leviticus chapter 23, verses 33 through 42, by God through Moses as a celebration complete with a holy convocation and joyful celebration. The celebration commemorates God's care for the children of Israel while they wandered in the desert, as well as a harvest festival celebrated for 7 days in the fall, somewhere between September and October. Sukkot calls the people to build and dwell in a booth and to present burnt grain and drink offerings to the Lord over and beyond their regular gifts and offerings. They were to honor God by giving their best and celebrating Him to the utmost. We are called to do the same. Give God our best. Celebrate Him to the utmost. We kind of fall into the habit of Cain, who gave God whatever he felt he could. God has to understand. Well, you remember the story of Cain and Abel. Cain's offering was rejected by God. So you can't just throw anything at God. I know some people say, yes, you can. God understands. Yes, He does understand. He understands that you could do better, but you choose not to. It's not in your desire. It's not in your plan. You don't have the interest. It doesn't mean anything to you, so you give God whatever and hope He'll just accept it, because you say that I can't do any better, but God knows you can. Matter of fact, you know you can. But you do less because you don't want to put forth the effort. Something that we want to remind you of, or something that we're hoping that we might learn in this study, is that we will learn why and how the Israelites celebrated the festival of booths. That's what we want to try to learn in our time in this series. What was the point? What was the purpose? And then if we understand that, then we might understand something about how we ought to celebrate God in our day-to-day, in our moment-to-moment, in our minute-to-minute, in our successes, and in our successions with Him. So we do thank God for you all who are tuned into the broadcast. You are tuned into Guts, Gospel Not Saved, a variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. I'm your host, Nikki B. Definitely got to get moving and transitioning out of here, but we do thank God for you all who are tuned into the broadcast, and we hope that you will continue to tune in Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have a little change up here because we're having a little technical difficulties with our toll-free number right now, and it's constantly sounding busy and as if unreachable. But we do thank God for you all who are able to connect with us. And when we're connected with the broadcast at this point, you can call 646-716-5216. That's 646-716-5216. And we'll let you know when the toll-free number gets back up and running. Until next time, this is Nikki V saying, have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus.
So easy to give back.
I don't have a lot of money to help people, but I do have something. I have time.
You can give any skill you have. Just imagine how strong a society you could be.
This is Barack Obama. Every one of us has a role to play in making our communities and our country stronger. Discover yours. Help us continue to make a difference in the life of our nation. Go to serve.gov and find the opportunity that works for you. This message is brought to you by the Corporation for National Community Service. The devil's always so. Let the devil all right with you. WBSY, Road 90 Sports, Lauderdale, Miami. It's a great song. My God's been good to me, and everything that I want, so He gave to me. So how dare thee criticize? But you heard that I moved to the other side? They mad, cause I left the devil, and the dog going to a whole nother level. Ain't playing with them, ain't holding back. 3, 2, 1, can they talk about a lot of MCs, but a lot of MCs that can do it like me? But I'ma keep on doing my thing, and all my songs I'ma praise His name. A lot of people may get mad because of my Holy Ghost swag, but I ain't come here by myself. I got help from a DMF. Come on, sing. Hold up, blow up, know what? Guess who show up? Thank God for the show. Now me and him represent GGGGOD now. Well, nobody there for me. Who can I turn to? Help, but nobody really care for me. Except my Lord and Savior. Dropped to my knees and He showed me favor. It is He who give me the strength. Why me call from the sun like a plug of a big room. I go in, cause I didn't want to be in sin. So I gave my life to Him. And God told me that I could win. I already won. The word said the victory is mine. The devil out of hell, I go free.